What is going on, everybody? I'm John Renger from Techno Buffalo, and we are streaming this video live. If you get a chance to watch, be sure to leave a comment. You can ask us anything about the event that just ended. Apple unveiled a ton of new stuff, a lot of what we expected, as well as some surprises, and I'm really excited to tell you about it, so I made a video on it, and I'd love to show it to you. That was my Tim Cook impression. So I think perhaps most surprisingly, Apple finally and mercifully updated the MacBook Air line. It no longer looks like it did when it launched with those gigantic bezels. It now got a Retina display they were super happy to talk about. It also got two Thunderbolt 3 ports, which I think was pretty impressive. And the price point is also pretty competitive. It's going to start at just about $1,200. So I'm also wondering, we'll talk about this when other guys come in, is what that's going to mean for the MacBook line. You can order it now, and it's going to ship on November 7th. So I think a lot of questions that I've got is, who is the MacBook Air for, and how does it fit in, obviously, Apple's greater lineup? The next product they announced, and finally, mercifully as well, it's been 4 years since it got an update, was the Mac Mini. It's now space gray, and they're trying to present it as a pro machine. I don't think it's really a pro computer, but it can do a lot of pro-ish things. It's got 6 cores optional. Quad core is going to be standard. It's got 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports. It's got HDMI on the back, and it's going to start at about $800. So Apple's been slowly raising the price of their products. The old Mac Mini, I believe, was like $499. So prices are definitely going up. We are getting more modern components inside of the Mac Mini. And the big one, the big announcement Apple made, the one that I was pretty much pumped for, was the new iPad Pro. Not many surprises here. So the big one, Face ID is now part of it. There's no notch built in. Face ID will work regardless of what orientation you are on. And I hope you guys liked the iPhone XR screen, because Apple pretty much just did that, but bigger. Resolution is better as well. It's an LCD display. It's their liquid LCD. OLED would have been nice, but OLED also would have made the starting price point a bajillion dollars. The size is a bit different now. So the smaller one, because the bezels are thinner, is 11 inches, and then you've got the larger one at 12.9. There are still tiny bezels around the sides, so you can hold it. A lot of people were worried if you had a bezel-less design how you could hold a tablet. New Apple Pencil here as well. You can just dock it right on top with magnets, and it'll charge and automatically pair. It looks really nice and elegant, and you can double tap the pencil to change modes. But perhaps the biggest, and I think one of the best, and signaling a change for Apple, is the Lightning port is gone on the iPad Pro. It's now USB Type-C, which is awesome for a lot of reasons. First, reverse charging. You can charge your iPhone or really whatever you want via the new iPad Pro, but also you can plug into external monitors, you can plug in your cameras, and everything can go directly into the iPad Pro. So I'm pumped about it. Starting price is going to be $799 for the 11-inch. So let us know what you guys want to talk about. I'm going to bring in Berto and Matt to sort of talk about the new products and stuff we're excited and disappointed about. You guys come on in. So let me ask, what was one thing you wanted to see that you guys didn't get?
Let's see. I wanted to see a little teaser of the Mac Pro.
And you wanted that.
Because that's still coming, supposedly.
That's been about a year since they said it was coming, right?
Yeah, and they said, at the time they announced it, they said next year we should see it.
Right.
And now it's that time, so I don't know.
I don't think anyone was expecting AirPower, because if you were, you definitely didn't get it. It would have been nice to see AirPods too. I think there was a glimmer of hope that maybe we'd see an update to that, or at least the wireless charging case, but that didn't happen. I think we'll probably maybe see an update to that in the fall. But I think everything we thought we'd see, we saw. No major leaks, but I don't think there was any standout surprises. So
yeah, this would have been the event to show the Mac Pro at. I mean, it was
right.
It was a hardware focused. Do you guys remember the leaked CAD drawings of the iPad Pro? It ended up being pretty accurate, but they had
exactly the same.
But they had a weird thing on the back. Remember, it almost looked like a Touch ID sensor on the back.
Right.
That appeared to either be scrapped or.
That's what's on the side now. So where the Apple Pencil goes, it looks like a little sensor on the side.
So maybe they were going to put it on the back.
Yeah,
some kind of smart connector type
switched
thing.
Where it goes, yeah.
So they also talked about. There's a long, unnecessarily long presentation on Photoshop for the iPad, but I think they were trying to show the power of the iPad and kind of as a PC replacement. They gave an interesting fact that the iPad is outsold 100% of all PC manufacturers' laptops like ever, which is a pretty startling like fact. So,
Yeah.
first of all, do you care about the new iPad?
Yes. Like, we were all watching the presentation throughout. We're just like, this is like, if you're the competition to the iPad, like, I don't know what you could do from here. Like,
Who is it? I mean, who's
no, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, if you want a tablet, like, this is the best one you can get, and it has everything that you would want pretty much. It even has USB-C now.
I think it's
What else would you want?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest refreshes we've seen
Yeah.
to the iPad line in quite some time. So
I think it might be one of the biggest refreshes Apple's ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, they changed the I/O, which they
rarely.
Rarely do.
Signals big things for the iPad or the iPhone event this fall.
Nah,
for sure.
nah.
You don't
So-
think? This
Absolutely.
is a direction. They can't
Absolutely
do it on one
0%
end.
chance.
Really?
Yeah, zero.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. From a business standpoint, Apple makes so much money licensing Lightning.
Nah, I don't think that
But how
has
long do you
anything
think
to
they
do
can
with it. I
really
don't think it
keep
has anything
Lightning?
to do with it.
If they're gonna have USB-C in the iPad, at some point it's gotta come over to the iPhone.
They're gonna
line.
go portless before they switch from Lightning.
Wow, bold claim.
I
Okay.
like to think that Robert's right, but I think realistically, it's probably not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, let's jump right into our first
Yeah, questions.
couple
Sorry.
questions. Now, David Nunez said, I'm gonna buy an iPad Mini today because they didn't update it. Do you think the iPad Mini is dead with AirPower and headphone jacks? Berto, you use a Mac Mini. Are you sad?
You know, one of the interesting things about we're talking about iPad Mini, right?
iPad Mini or Mac
Yeah.
Mini.
You're talking about
You said Mac Mini at the
I
end.
said I meant iPad Mini. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So we had heard last week from a credible Apple analyst, Ming-Chi Kuo, that there would be an iPad Mini update, something we haven't seen in a long time. And there has been rumors that the iPad Mini is just going to be killed off because there's really not a need for it. Maybe it's not selling well, and it was surprising not to see that. If you're going to buy one today, I mean, if it hasn't been updated, it's probably not going to get updated, so I'd go ahead and go for it. But you're getting a lot less than you would be if you spent a little bit more money and went with either the cheaper $350 iPad
yeah.
or even the iPad Pro. So if that's the form factor you want, I guess go for it. But there's some advantages to the other
Yeah.
ones for sure.
I have the latest iPad Mini, and it still works great.
Right.
It still has a Retina display.
Right.
With iOS 12, it actually runs fine.
Right.
Like, I would definitely get it used. Don't go buy it new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Save
Right.
a lot of money on it.
Right.
But I mean, it's fine. It's
Works.
still got pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say do not buy an iPad Mini. Don't buy a new, like Matt said. Don't
Right.
buy a
Don't
new. Don't buy a new
Right,
iPad
definitely
Mini.
not.
That is a bad idea.
Yeah, but there's got to be tons of them used out there.
Great resale market on them.
And the dismembered voice, by the way, reading the questions is Jesse.
Yeah, he's behind the computer running the whole thing.
Yeah, he's running the whole jam. Just
Any other-
what questions we're getting.
Yeah, any other questions?
All right, so the next one is from Pascal Payant. He said, "Can the Mac Mini be upgraded with RAM without buying them from Apple?" Did you guys have
No
Good
idea,
question. I
but
don't-
probably. Not.
Probably not. Probably soldered. Though that I think I don't know. I'm excited for that Mac Mini update.
I think it's cool.
No,
Yeah.
It's like the
There's-
forgotten Mac.
Well, not forgotten anymore, but
Yeah, not anymore, but
it'll be the same now until like 2023.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I like
it'll-
the new color. New color's gonna
Space
cool.
gray's
It's like
cool.
a big Apple TV.
Yeah.
But the one thing I wish they announced alongside that was a new cinema display.
Yeah, I think those days are done.
I think they are
didn't-
too,
yeah.
but I would just wish.
They didn't say they were getting out of the display business, right?
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
but I just wish.
They had that slide with the old Apple Cinema displays, which
They
made
were
no
old.
sense.
Those are from like
Yeah.
2005. It was like
Interesting.
All right, Joseph Monsalvo said, "So will Apple go USB-C for good? Will next year's iPhones have Type-C now?"
no.
We got to know.
I'm saying that.
I'm hoping optimistically yes.
So we have a non-committal answer from
Yeah.
Robert, and I'm going no too. I don't see them making that
Yeah.
big change. They could surprise us.
I'd be okay
Right.
with it.
Yeah,
but
I'd
I'm
be
not
okay with
saying-
it too. I just don't
Right.
see. I don't see
Yeah.
Apple doing it. Personally,
It's very clear that they want the portless phone.
Right.
so badly they want it.
And they wouldn't. Remember when 30-pin switched to Lightning? How big of a fuss everyone made about that? Like, it's not worth it for another 3 years of the Lightning port. Like, just stick out for the next 3 years. No one's gonna complain because it's already been the Lightning port.
Right.
So like,
Makes
just
sense.
Get over it. Like, and then they'll get to the portless one. We'll complain
Wait,
then.
You think the portless phone is only 3 years away?
Yeah. I don't think like everything besides that one portless phone is probably gonna be port still, obviously, but I think it's 3 years away.
See, I disagree. A big market for Apple is a lot of developing countries, and so
Well, they're not getting rid of the ports, just in their phone that is the expensive one.
but they still those phones the second and third. So that would mean essentially 4 years. The developing countries would start to get those phones as the resale comes in, and I don't think wireless charging will be that prevalent in those countries in 4 years. Personally, in 4 years, from just a business standpoint, I don't see it.
Maybe. I don't know. I still think they'll do it.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, next question then. Trayvon Lahan, I think? I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, buddy. What do you guys think about the base storage on the MacBook Air?
So base storage on the MacBook Air was what? 128?
128.
128.
Gigs.
I think that's the bare minimum that's acceptable for a computer. I can't see anything less than 128. Trivia question: how big was the storage in the first MacBook Air?
I believe that was like, it was like 84.
Yeah, I would say
or something.
80, 85 gigs,
It
something
was
like that.
64 gigabytes.
For
The original MacBook Air.
hard drive or for the SSD?
The original MacBook Air storage size was 64 gigs.
Well, it was an SSD, right?
No,
First
there was a
flash-
hard
That
drive.
was a hard drive.
Hard
Yeah.
drive?
Yeah. It was an iPod hard drive.
So I think 128 is probably fine for most people if you rely on cloud storage. 256 is probably more comfortable. They did get the price point, I think, okay for $1,200.
Okay, the price is great.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting an overly designed computer. You're also getting Touch ID built in. I would have liked to have seen RAM jump because I think RAM really impacts performance over time. But 8 gigs is kind of still the standard.
Yeah, but that MacBook Air really needed an update.
Big time.
I'm really confused, like you said, John, earlier. Like, where does the MacBook fit into all this now?
Yeah,
Especially for the
No,
almost
they're-
exact same price.
The computers that they have are fine. It's their naming that's horrible.
But how does the MacBook fit into the lineup? Like, who's the MacBook
Because that's
for?
the super portable. It's their 11-inch MacBook Air. They used to have that.
Why not just rebrand it as like 11-inch?
That's what I mean. Their branding is horrible,
Yeah.
but their products I think are fine.
But
And they need to update that MacBook, the 12-inch.
Yeah, it makes the MacBook seem outdated if
Right.
the
Yeah.
Air has 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports.
Right.
And the MacBook has 0 Thunderbolt
yeah.
3 ports and just 1 USB Type-C.
Yeah, it needs to get updated.
Big time.
I'm hoping that they do the ARM chip. Like they're obviously working towards that.
So you mean like Apple putting their own chips?
Yeah, and the 12-inch MacBook is perfect for that. I think.
It's a nice playground for them to try
Yeah,
that,
just
I
try
think.
it. I can't imagine that many people buy that computer. Well, maybe they do.
My wife
actually-
has one and she loves
No, I know a
loves
few
the
people that
thing.
have it too, and they love it. But like when you walk into the store and you see the price,
Yeah.
it's expensive.
It is. It's hard to see anybody picking that up, especially now.
Well,
that
now
the
with the
Air,
MacBook Air, yeah.
Right.
The Air exists. People loved the MacBook Air. I mean, people are still buying it. Those chunky old bezels.
Well, they're keeping it around too, the old one.
It's
Still
$9.99.
$9.99.
Oh, they're keeping that thing
Yeah.
around.
They
Do not
have-
buy the old MacBook Air.
Well, they had to because they already had a $9.99 computer.
Yeah.
They can't just get rid of that.
I mean, this new one, so it's 10% thinner, 17% less volume. Those are big. Those are big changes for an already thin.
Have you picked up the MacBook, the old MacBook Air lately?
It doesn't feel thin anymore.
It's huge.
Yeah, it feels big now. Just to show like how warped our perception
Yeah.
of computers has become.
So I'm all for thinner and later.
All right, next question. Unrund Menon? Again, I'm butchering names all day. Why would someone buy the MacBook Air when Apple themselves say that the cheapest iPad Pro is a lot faster than i7 computers, and the MacBook Air comes with an i3 and is more expensive? And kind of on that, Brian James Pons also said, which would you buy, an iPad Pro with a keyboard or a MacBook Air?
Desktop app.
It all comes
Yeah,
to Mac
apps.
OS. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's easy.
There is, I think from my experience, the 12-inch MacBook and the iPad Pro outperforms the 12-inch MacBook. I think just fluidity using it, the way it launches apps and stuff. At least in my experience. So it really just comes down to the OS. Like when
Yeah,
you look at
100% the OS.
Absolutely.
I still don't see the iPad as a computer replacement. I see it as a computer supplement. Still, I know I may be in the minority on that.
I think you are. Yeah.
But if I'm looking to buy a new computer, if I'm going to college, I'm looking at a computer. I'm not looking at I'm just going to use my iPad.
Yeah. No, I think you're really in the minority there.
I may be.
Yeah. But they're both seem to be solid though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next one. So Gans Tech Nerd said, in this day and age, who do you think the Mac Mini is for, compared to the new MacBook Air, which is a better bet for light work?
Seems like the Mac Mini has taken a more pro-focused
Trying.
audience. It used to be like the Mac Mini was, this is your entry point into Mac OS. If you weren't going full out iMac, you don't want a laptop, it was the Mac Mini. But now they have that option, though it's like an i3. I think it's more, these are going to be things that are going to be put into server racks. They're going to be clumped together to be render machines. That's what it seems like, especially with the options and the upgradability. That's what
That was
it's going
very
for now.
interesting how they had 10 of them stacked together.
Yeah.
That was cool. I think that is definitely going to be a big market for it. Because before, when they first announced the Mac Mini, it was like the entry port, like you said.
Right.
You already had a computer or a screen from your previous PC, and you're just like, I need to upgrade my computer, so you just plug this thing in.
Right.
It still works with your setup that you already have, and now you're on a Mac.
But don't you think
But
that
that's not the
that
case
entry
anymore.
level, those customers nowadays are just going iPad?
I think at the very least, they're going laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah,
So
I don't-
it would seem like the position, like you said, is like a lower level pro machine.
Right.
Maybe you don't need an iMac. Certainly the Mac Pro right now is not an option.
yeah.
Like that's probably what you go for.
Developers.
Yeah.
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 All right, so we just got a super chat from Arcade15,
Thank you,
Nice.
RK15.
and
Thank
his
you.
question is, can we talk about the possibility of being able to write code on the iPad?
Yes. Also, if you do give us a super chat, we'll 100% make sure we read your
Oh
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, you can code on the iPad. They got some Swift playgrounds on there.
But that's just for like testing.
Right.
You can't actually compile on the iPad.
Still?
No. So that's one thing that a lot of people have been wanting is Xcode on the iPad.
Right.
Hopefully, now that it's like they're really pushing the iPad, it's got USB-C and everything. Hopefully, we see that at WWDC.
Yeah.
I think we were like the rumors were supposed to see it last year,
Right.
but then that didn't happen.
I think it'll be a big pivotal moment. Once Xcode's on the iPad, then you really don't need a Mac.
Yeah.
Or at least for a lot
That
of
would
that
be a
stuff,
big
that'd be
for
a
like
big deal.
developers especially.
Right.
And that'd be amazing to develop on the thing you're using.
That is a very
Yeah.
fair point.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start closing out about 5 minutes. So any last questions, please put
Get
them in
them
the
in.
comments now. But next one is from Samik Paul, and he said, "I wish there were some crazy colors on the iPad like the iPhone 10R. What are your thoughts?"
I mean, they didn't talk about just like the same.
No.
Does it even
Silver.
come in gold?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's just
Silver and space gray.
Yep.
Yeah, space gray iPad. Colors are nice. People would like them.
They should do the 329 iPad with colors.
That
Yeah.
see, so that would
That would
be
make
that
more
would be a good
sense.
point. That
Especially for like
separates it.
education or like younger people, like kids.
Yeah,
Like,
I was surprised that
that
Apple
crayon.
was pushing their keyboard as much as they were to sort of hide. The only reason I brought that up is to hide the color. They were really pushing that keyboard hard. I thought during the keynote.
This keyboard?
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that they upgraded it.
that is true.
Like it now has two positions.
$130, right, for that thing? The
180.
180
Yeah, it is
for
not.
that.
It's not cheap.
I feel like it's $10 more than last year.
Really? The Apple Pencil also, I think, is went from
$30
$99 to $129.
Apple's been slowly raising the prices of
Yeah.
almost everything,
Yep.
and like doing a very like sneaky style.
But at least with the Apple Pencil, like it does more. It's not just
Right.
like the newest version, you know.
Yeah,
The keyboard though, that's just like sneaking. Some
Looks a little
pennies
different,
in
though.
there.
Looks hopefully the key.
It looks a little different, but yeah. I don't know. I like the iPad keyboard currently. So
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to clarify really quick. We looked into it, and it looks like you should be able to upgrade the RAM on the Mac Mini yourself.
Interesting.
that's a
That's
big
cool.
one. Then it's
Yeah.
definitely geared to pros.
Not
Yeah,
fully
then 100%.
confirmed, but that's what we're seeing online.
That'd be pretty cool.
Also, we got a couple more super chats that jumped in. Michael Brown, he asked a question that we already answered, but we can kind of go
Let's
over
talk
it
in
again.
Michael Brown. We
Thank
got
you,
you.
Michael.
He said, with the iPad Pro moving to USB-C, do we think the iPhones are going to do the same? Which
So I do not think Apple's going to do it. I would like them to do it.
So why do you think that they will?
I just think that I understand that there's a segmentation between the iPad and the iPhone. If they're going to choose one, the iPad's probably the better place to start. But I think it's a logical conclusion. You start on the iPad, you build up an ecosystem of USB Type-C accessories, which they've started to do, bring it to the iPhone, great for everybody.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think they include in the box a USB-C to Lightning
No,
dongle?
absolutely
They
not.
would in
The next
Europe.
iPhone.
In Europe, they would.
You think they would? Or they have
Oh
to?
no, no.
Regulatory if they had to, but
Oh, that like USB-C to Lightning.
Yeah, like to.
I would hope.
That
I really don't
tweener
understand why
device.
they didn't do it this year. Like it makes no sense.
well, we'd have to check. I wonder if it says if it's in the box or not.
Wait.
For the
Like,
iPads.
like on iPads.
No,
I
probably
doubt it.
not.
Probably
Doubt
not.
it.
Probably charge $30 for it. And
all right, next super chat, Pascal Appletech said,
Pascal Apple Tech.
there was no iMac update and no mention of AirPower. Why
God.
do you think they did not mention those?
Air power is like a big question mark. There's been issues with like getting power properly to it,
Right.
but to not even like acknowledge it was crazy.
I thought when he said one quick update, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was the worst update ever. It's like iOS 12.
It's like, oh, we've sold a lot, and then
Yeah.
iMac. I don't think the iMac was rumored
No.
for an update.
We heard maybe it would
Like
get a spec
upgrades,
bump, but
yeah.
yeah.
I think the
And we
next,
still might see that through like a press release. Like if it's just specs, like they've done that before. Which,
Yeah.
just press release.
I think the next iMac we see is going to be a design update. I think.
Maybe.
Like a full, like,
Refresh.
It's been quite a few years.
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
All right, and our last super chat came from Concept Creator.
Yay!
Thank you, Concept.
Jermaine.
He said, "Here's a little bit of funding for the new Apple stuff because they have crazy pricing."
Thank you, Jermaine. Check
Thank
him
you.
out on Twitter at CConceptCreator. I think he does.
Yeah, it makes
he's
awesome stuff.
generally good human being, but also does amazing work.
Yep.
All right, our next question from Paradox. He said, "What do you think about the Apple Pencil Generation 2 only being compatible with the newest iPads and not the 5th gen iPad or the 10.5 iPad Pro?"
So I'm assuming that it's using the new protocol where you don't have to actually pair it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why it wouldn't.
Right.
So that means you should just be able to pick it up and use it on any iPad. So that's one reason. So it's actually a physical hardware change. Also, it doesn't look like you could charge it any other way.
Yeah.
Putting on the iPad.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
100% the reason.
Right. No surprises.
Also, you got to buy a new one. So.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. So we hit the 20-minute mark. It's time to start closing out. So you guys want to say your final thoughts and your goodbyes to the audience?
Let us know if you guys like this sort of live produced kind of video. These are really fun for us to
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
So
Enjoy.
let us in the comments. Let us know in the comments down below. And the biggest way to let us know is to give it a thumbs up. That really helps us and can let us see that you guys enjoy the format. Thank you guys for coming by.
And also, we're going to have coverage on all these products. So
We
be
will.
sure to stay tuned for all that.
Thanks for the great questions, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.